Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at the market leading stocks via our proprietary scans for the coming session. This is going to be for Tuesday, January 28th, 2013. Note that this Tuesday will be the beginning of the two-day Fed meeting as well. So we had a pretty nasty screen session from Friday, where we indicated that we're probably going to undercut Friday's lows on Monday, and we certainly did that. And there is a lot of volume in many of these names. However, today we're getting definitely less signals, and we don't have that confluence of downside indications that we had from Friday last week. A couple of volume bumps here to take a look at. Not many of them are associated with signals. We do have a contra signal in Adobe. That one is on volume. A couple of the deviations here. Baidu pretty decently still below the day's close, even after the market's starting to recover. eBay is still pretty weak. Entertainment Arts is trading out the other way. That one's 2% above the day's open. That one's definitely one of the stronger ones on the session. BlackBerry is on light volume, but that one is sporting a contra candle to the upside and is 1% above the day's open. Moving on to the financial names. Again, real good volume. Couple things here to be aware of. We've got a open-close deviation in MasterCard. That's going to have a pretty awkward and pretty bearish candle left on the chart, and that's on a lot of volume. That's MA. Got a contra signal in Sallie Mae, a downside CPS in the CME. CME is still very weak today. So if we do pick up with more weakness tomorrow, keep an eye on the CME and also the ICE exchange. Moving on to the energy names. Not a lot here. The CHK shares are pretty weak today. 2.75% below the day's open with the downside CPS signal. Also, BTU is fairly weak today, 1% below the day's open still, and sporting a contra signal to the downside. Moving on to the market generals, we're actually biased just a touch to the buy side. We've got contra candles in Disney, McDonald's, and also Walmart. A couple of volume bumps to be aware of. We've got one in Caterpillar. That one's got a contra sell signal. That one had earnings, so there's a lot of volume coming from earnings, but that one is playing out below the day's open. Comcast also has a volume bump today, and so does VMW. VMware is still pretty weak today, still about 1.5% below the day's open. Moving on to the housing names, a lot of movement here. The NVR 5.5% above the day's open on excellent volume. Home Depot's got a contra candle brewing to the upside. Got a volume bump in DHI. Hovnanian and also Toll Brothers all have volume bumps. Transports still definitely in motion. FedEx about 2% below the day's open on increased volume. Norfolk Southern is starting to right the ship. That one's above the day's open on decent volume. And finally onto the commodities. Starting to see some RPSs stacking up here, especially in the miners. Got one in ABX, Silver Wheaton, and we've got one in Newmont. Monsanto is not a miner, but more of an agricultural stock, of course, and that one is putting up an RPS to the buy side. Double G Gold Corp is still very, very weak. That one is putting up a CPS signal to the downside, a continuation pressure signal. So if gold continues lower tomorrow, that might be one to keep an eye on. All right, folks. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.